Hello, this is Matthew with another Love Buddy Love-a-thon broadcast. It's a live broadcast right now. It's 4 p.m. here in the Philippines, coming from my home here in a small city called Ormoc, and I'm just talking about the Love Buddy Love-a-thon project, encouraging people to be more active. Now, we have a lot of people that are not active in the world that really have good love in their hearts, and they're not sharing that with others. This is what can make the difference in the world, people being more active. Now, some people don't want to do that. That's okay, but there are enough people that are interested, enough people that are capable, enough people that have something to offer, whether it's time or resources or energy, to help the world become a better place. Love Buddy is a place where we can gather, where we can meet, where we can share information, and especially we can learn about love. Love Buddy is centered around the idea of love as a solution. It's not religion. It's not about politics. It's not about racism. It's not about money. It's about love, because love is the one real solution to the problems that the world has. I was just thinking more about listening to some people talk on a Joe Rogan podcast, and he was talking about the problems in the south side of Chicago. You know, they need programs. The guy's saying, oh, we need programs. Andrew Santino. We need programs. He's from Chicago. He's from the north side. I lived on the north side of Chicago for a long time, about 9 years, I think. And I went to grammar school, middle school, and part of high school there before I moved back to Los Angeles, where I was born. And I just went back in 2000, I think it was 2013 and 14. And I was there working with community centers. I was down there working in the South Side, working with charities, and working with what was it, a evangelical Christian group that had put a food, what did they call that? It was a food bank kind of a situation there. And what they did was they used that food bank to attract people. But the owner of the food bank, who I spent a lot of time with, it took us 2 hours to drive down there from the northern suburbs. He'd pick me up, we'd go down there together, and he did nothing but preach dogma to me the whole way. It was all about dogma. It was never about what's going on in the community. How can we help the community? How can we empower the people? It had nothing, absolutely nothing to do with that. It had everything to do with dogma. He wanted to convert me to his cult, his evangelical Christian cult that had set up this bait and switch operation down there at this food pantry. And what they did is they would attract people there. People would drive up in Mercedes. I watched it. I saw it. People would drive up in Mercedes and pick up free food. All they had to do was show their ID. And I said, isn't that kind of ironic? Is that right that someone can afford a Mercedes, but now they're taking free food from the food bank? Is that the right thing? He said he didn't care. He said all he wanted to do was share the word of Jesus, and share his dogma. And then they had Bible studies there on Sundays and a Bible discussion. And I attended one or two of those, but they just didn't really make any sense, because they weren't about empowering people. They were all about brainwashing people to believe what they wanted to believe, to force their ideas and beliefs on people with this bait of free food. And that's ridiculous. And you see that a lot. You see that a lot in churches. You talk to a lot of homeless people and they say, yeah, we listen to them preach and we eat food. We have to listen to their garbage. And, maybe some people, they get converted, unfortunately, but that's not the solution. That's not the answer. The answer is empowering people. The answer is helping people find a job, find training. If they're having some kind of a substance abuse, helping them handle that. Giving them a consistent home, giving them a consistent place to sleep, a place where they can find healthy, nutritious food, a place where they feel secure, and a place where they can where they can go and they can volunteer and they can help out. They can contribute to that place. So this is called a community center. This is a real community center. And this is everybody community designed community center. It's an ECC. And these places help to really enrich a neighborhood, and it helps to get people out of this poverty and out of this desperation, which means less drugs and alcohol, less crime, and more actualization, more empowerment to the people that live there. I didn't see any programs while I was down there that were really empowering people. Oh, there's one coffee shop that would hire local workers. It was run by a white guy, because this is all pretty much 99% black area, or more than 99%. And there's a lot of animosity towards white people there that I experienced toward me, just because I was white, because they're frustrated with the system and they feel like they don't have a chance. Community centers can turn that around, and it might take a year to start to feel some effects. It might take 5 years to see some significant effects. It might take a whole generation to completely change a community. But I know the same things are going on in Detroit, St. Louis, all the major cities in America. They all have this impoverished communities that have no community center, and they're not being transformed. The people aren't being empowered. And they have cops from outside. The police come in from outside. They don't know anybody there, and they're chasing people down and shooting people, and they're hated. And they hate those people. There's not a relationship there. So the security for the neighborhood has to come from within. It has to come from inside, from people that you know. There are people who care. There are a lot of people who care. A lot of people who are doing a lot of great things. But religion is not the solution. Not the religion itself, not unless those people who are part of that religion don't believe in dogma as much as they believe in love. And love is helping people, empowering people, and doing some really good projects and programs to help people to get healthy, get jobs, and be able to live more of a healthy and normal life. These neighborhoods, some of these houses, what I heard on this recording was you can buy a house for $100. I don't know about that, but I know that some of the houses in Chicago, where I was on the south side, $4,000, just ridiculous. And I thought, well, what if I bought a whole block? And there's some rule that can't buy more than one or something like that. But once the Love Buddy Project gets going, I'm going to be focusing on these community centers right away, because they're going to make a difference. And in the beginning, we're going to make mistakes. We'll get experts in who have a lot of experience with community centers, different types of community centers, and we'll just work through it step by step, month by month, day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year, until we have a really strong model that really works to help people. Because I don't see that happening right now. If it is happening somewhere, I don't know about it, and it's certainly not happening enough. And there's such chronic poverty, such chronic desperation. It's really a crime committed by those in charge, because they're neglecting people. Talk about neglect. 15,000 children dying every day from curable diseases like diarrhea, from parasites and bacteria. So anyway, this is one of the things that we're planning with the Love Buddy Project, the Love Buddy organization. I'm online every hour, on the hour, encouraging people to take part in the Love Buddy Project. If you have a vision in your mind, if you have a desire to help people, please support the Love Buddy Project by subscribing. Click on the link in the notes here and be part of the solution. Thanks so much for listening. This is Matthew from Love Buddy. Hope you're having a wonderful day. I love you. We'll see you next time at the top of the hour.